Enough of that.
Good morning, Tyler.
Hey, Steve. Hi.
Hi.
Podcast numero
5.
The 5th one. Fight on.
Five
That's
on.
what we're talking about today. Fighting on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Today is Thursday again. Was it 20?
We're losing track of the dates. Time's just flying by.
23rd, 24th?
It's the 23rd.
23rd today.
It's our 7th, 8th week school.
8th week of school. Like
That's
around halfway through. Maybe like a week away from being halfway through the last semester we have in college.
Yeah. Wow, dude.
Weird to say that loud.
It's heartfelt.
Heartfelt for sure.
We just want to talk about some of the lessons we've learned the past 4 years, personal and career-wise, and discuss with you guys our journey, I guess, from being a freshman to senior till today, like what we've gone through and learned from that experience, the good and the bad.
Yeah, a snippet of some of the lessons we took away from being here at
Right.
USC for 4 years.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much to it. It's kind of crazy to look back on it and to get introspective about the journey. And I think it seems like we know a lot right now, but I bet in 10 to 15 years, we're even going to learn more about it. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to
In retrospect? Or?
10 years, we're going to look back and learn, like, think, wow, this experience actually meant a whole lot more than I even thought it did in that moment in time.
I could see that.
Does that make sense? Like, when...
Yeah.
Like, it's going to shape us more than we realized. But I can already tell that I'm a different person than I was as a freshman. I'm sure you are too.
Totally. More than I realize now, maybe.
I think so, which is just crazy to me, thinking that we were 18 years old coming to LA. I moved from Michigan, and you're from...
Shanghai.
Straight from China.
Shanghai.
Like, that's just a crazy transition.
Mm-hmm.
Yours more than mine. But...
Not as much as you would think, but still... It's there, the difference. Just living in a different country, like the years leading up to college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's been a process, and some of the lessons we've learned, really are gonna stay with us for a while. So you want to dive into it and speak on maybe one you want to like take off.
Totally, yeah. So one of the main things I realized was the importance of your network. Your network, as in the people you meet in college. I mean, we talked about this before, but
yeah,
there's a saying, your network is your net worth or whatever, but it's totally true in the sense that, and you can talk about this later about professors, but everyone you meet, the professors, the people, like the reason we're doing this podcast is because we've met each other somehow through college, socially, and decided to create a project together. And people build us. I know I have friends that build startups together.
I just grabbed his hand.
A little bromance. The friends you make could be some.
Why was that so funny,
dude? And looking back 10 years down the line, you'll realize this even more. Some of the people you met in college, your friends, are your business partners, your business connections.
Yeah.
Your friends that might find you a job or whatnot. And then about USC in particular, there's the whole thing about helping alumni, calling it the Trojan Network.
Yeah.
It's totally huge. It's like everyone you meet here. It's going to open up so many doors.
This is off topic, but do you think if we started a business together, we would fight?
Potentially.
What would we fight about?
I don't know. Dude, small shit.
Yeah.
Well, this is a business right here, technically.
Yeah. We fight.
No.
Everyone says we get along too well. We need to argue more.
Yeah.
What do we disagree on?
We haven't fought about a lot of things yet.
I think we're pretty easygoing people.
We're both pretty easygoing about
except when you steal my protein bars.
Except when you steal my AirPods and my charger.
It's just not chill at all. Bro, I'll look in my fridge. I hide my protein bars in the fridge because people like Steven steal them, and there was like 4 gone one time.
It's a give and take. You know, you take some of my stuff, I take some of your stuff.
Up. Whatever, man.
Anyway, back on topic. People are important.
Stay away from my damn protein bars.
I know one of your points is about professors, but I in the first beginning of the couple of years, I didn't go to any office hours and whatnot, and I decided, some of my friends told me I should start going.
Yeah.
And I went one time, just a 10-minute meeting with my professors, and she's like, "Oh, you're applying to this job? I can put in a word I know, like the director there, you know?"
Mm-hmm.
And that's not to say you should go with the purpose of trying to seek some value in that sense, but
yeah,
people can open up a lot of doors and a lot more doors than you think.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
One of my major takeaways I've learned from being at USC, and I learned this later on, like more like junior, senior year, was it's really important to establish a relationship with your professor because the value you gain from having that relationship is unmeasurable. You know what I mean? It's just like they can open doors for you, like you mentioned, but they can just create insight for you as well. Like I've learned more outside of the classroom from my teachers than I did inside the classroom, and they really help like guide you and act as mentors. And you can get really personal with them. And especially at USC, everyone's trying to, at least for us, like in the business school, everyone's trying to start their own thing, create their own venture company, whatever it is. And your professors are all experts. A lot of them have already done that. A lot of them have already founded their own businesses and have like exited, and now they're like doing venture capital and doing a lot of cool stuff that they can really provide information and insight towards that. Or if they don't know about the industry, they can connect with someone that does. So just reaching out. A lot of kids don't do it. A lot of kids are lazy. They don't want to like put the extra time in school and meet people. But if you spent some time just to build a relationship with your professor, you can learn a whole lot, and it's actually going to pay dividends in the classroom as well. You're going to be more engaged. So for me particularly, I think I've learned a lot just from my entrepreneurship teachers. I transferred to Marshall at the business school at USC in Marshall when I was a sophomore. And I didn't even know when I transferred, dude, I didn't even know what consulting was. I didn't know what investment banking really was or like what business is. My dad was in the military, that's all I knew. So just being able to like talk with people who are professionals in the industry was life changing for me, I think.
Yeah, yeah, that's huge. And I think entrepreneurship, the lens from entrepreneurship might be a little skewed because a lot of these professors at USC have made successful startups and they're just kind of teaching here for fun, you know?
Which
But
is crazy.
and then maybe if you're an engineer and you're like,
Which is crazy.
I don't want to be a teacher, why am I taking advice from my professor? Well, because they have friends in the industry that are and that are working as non-professors are actively in the industry.
Right.
And they know a lot more than you realize. And when you go to them personally, they're able to give individual attention and advice.
Yeah.
And get way more out of that than in your classroom.
I guess like outside of our perspectives, since we're both like narrow-minded business kids,
Business students.
like we don't really have the whole like full scope of USC with like with engineering and like law or whatever it is.
Whatever.
But I just think it's beneficial no matter what major you're in to get involved, to meet with professors, even if they don't like tangibly give you any like I don't know any value.
like job opportunities or whatever.
Yeah. But like it's just important to build those relationships, and it makes college way more fun, to be honest with you. So strive to do that. Strive to create those relationships. Any other career takeaways you had?
Yeah, career takeaways and
sure, why not? Yeah.
Career takeaways. For me personally, USC stresses finding internships pretty early on. In college.
USC really emphasizes internships. I was talking to a kid from Stanford, and he's never done an internship in 4 years of college. But he's working for Meta after. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just like USC is like super hard on internships.
Right, but you learn so much. I mean, people talk about this all the time. Most of the stuff you learn from your job will be at your job. And I would, and me in particular, I tried a lot of things in college. A lot of people are like, I'm dead set on banking or becoming a lawyer, right? A freshman year. I applied to all kinds of different jobs. I did like wealth management. I did a little bit of investment banking. I worked for this like music management artist for a bit. Like the thing about trying a lot of different things is realizing, hey, maybe I don't like this industry, or maybe there's something else within this industry that I like more. So it's like when I'm applying to jobs in the beginning of freshman year, I applied to all types of different jobs: marketing, finance, like entertainment, anything that I could get my hands on. And then I would try it for a bit. If I didn't like it, I'd be like, now I know what I don't like, so I can focus more on what I do like.
Yeah. I met this freshman at the gym yesterday, and he is just in the business school, and he asked me some advice about career goals and industries. And I was pretty frank with him and told him I transferred late into the business school, and my best advice is to apply to as many industries as possible and just figure out like what are you passionate about, what do you like to do, and you can only learn that really by taking action and like learning through these internships and getting practice and hands-on experience of that. So I told him just apply to, like you said, like apply to all these different fields and just really get a grasp for what it is you want to do, and more importantly, what you don't want to do. So that's something I wish I did. I used to be in poli sci. I thought I wanted to be a cool lawyer, but
I thought about that too. It's
It
funny.
wasn't my calling.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we could talk about.
It's funny. Tyler and I both got into like almost like a lot of the same colleges, like
Yeah, Michigan, UCLA, USC.
Berkeley.
I didn't apply to Berkeley.
Okay,
But yeah.
Michigan, UCLA,
And
some
we
schools in
were
Boston.
both fully committed to go to UCLA. I ended up going to the student orientation. I was at Admitted Students Day. I knew exactly where my dorm was going to be. And
I
then
found roommates too.
Yeah.
And like Facebook.
I was like fully ready to go to UCLA.
Yeah.
And then I got an appeal to go to USC. And here I am.
Yeah. And
it's so much better.
Wait, you applied?
It's not even
It's better.
comparable.
You applied for poli-sci, right?
Yeah, he's also in poli-sci.
I got into UCLA for poli-sci.
Me as well.
Yeah, I applied. Half of them were like business economics. Half of them were IR poli-sci. So
yeah.
Trying to decide.
And we're gonna make an episode later on about like our high school experiences and like what got us
into college,
into these schools.
We'll dive deeper into that.
Because there's a lot we both did.
Yeah.
But that's for another day.
Yeah.
But anyway, we were like on the same track to go to UCLA together, which would have been kind of crazy. But then, why'd you change? Why'd you change your mind?
I flew from Shanghai to LA with my dad, and we visited a bunch of schools that I got into, like Berkeley, UCLA, USC. It was talking to more people and realizing the importance about like the alumni network at USC being a private school and how that opens a lot of doors. And
yeah,
I got into USC originally with like IR, and then I'm like, the business school is starting to sound a lot like really interesting once I, did more research. So I appealed. I was like, I got an offer from UCLA and USC, but if you guys put me in the business school, I might be swayed to come to USC.
Sick.
So like 2 days later, they're like, you're in the business school.
You learned to negotiate your way into the business.
I mean, I could have got in like just anyway, but I
sure.
didn't think that's what I wanted until I did more research into the school. But
yeah, I didn't get in, but I appealed to it, and
you got in.
ROTC wrote me a letter of recommendation, and I like the program way better at USC than UCLA, which is
for ROTC or just for the school?
ROTC.
Okay.
And I don't know, they were like reaching out to me more than UCLA's program was. I thought that was cool. So I don't know. I think God put you exactly where you're supposed to be. God put us here. So
Amen.
I was just saying. I know you weren't really just like that, but
no, I'm somewhat spiritual.
Okay.
I know a lot of. I've read
Buddha.
a lot of the.
Buddha put us here.
I'm not Buddhist. I actually know a fair bit about Buddhism and Christianity, but that's for another day maybe.
Sure.
We could do a spirituality.
Yeah, I'll be down.
Okay.
I'm pretty with it.
Back on point, I kind of want, maybe you still want to talk about professional. I want to talk about the social aspect a little bit at some point.
That was
or if you want to.
Yeah, so wait, one more career thing I had was when you come to USC, when you apply to a school like this, I think we talked about this before, but in reality, the value you gain from college mostly comes from your environment in which you're in. So for USC, it's the students who are extremely ambitious and are starting their own ventures, the professors who are expert in industries, and you're living in Los Angeles as like a city made for young people to thrive. So it's just that's why you come to USC. That's what you're paying for. It's not really like the textbook you're learning from. You know what I mean? Like anyone can go on YouTube and figure that shit out themselves. It's mostly about the environment you're in. That is like the most valuable thing. So
yeah, so
that's what I learned.
That's why a big reason you chose USC over Michigan, right? Just like kind of getting out of your own comfort zone and being in a bigger city that's more international.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been cool to be. Ann Arbor's definitely a lot smaller, and there's definitely my network involved with Michigan, but it's not the same as.
It's not LA.
It's not LA. I mean, LA has a lot of cons, but definitely the network and the people you can meet here are unmatched. So that's why I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
But socially, bro,
I have a couple of points if you want.
Socially,
if you want to start
I think that's probably where you learn the most in college. You find yourself a lot more. If you were to show me my freshman self today, it'd be pretty insane. You know what I mean? I mean, you've lost a lot of weight. You probably wouldn't even recognize yourself.
No,
were you chunky in freshman year?
No.
Can I say that?
No, I was not chunky in freshman year, bro.
Steve was fat.
I was not fat, but
that's why we weren't friends.
I've stood. You're right.
Okay.
But you know what? I did get into fitness more this last year. It's great.
Okay.
Okay, bro.
Okay, anyway.
Listen, This might take a little bit more deeper reflection, maybe in a different episode. But I feel like we both changed a lot, especially
We can do another episode on that.
in less
Just
obvious
keep
ways.
going these ideas. Of like,
In ways way less obvious than your friggin' weight. I would say.
I agree.
But yeah, socially, there's a couple points I wrote down that I want to talk about for today. One was people come and go sometimes. And
dude, that was my main takeaway.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, people come and go. Meaning, like, you're a little freshman first of all, and everyone realizes that, like, oh, the first people you meet in college, people are super anxious about, are these going to be my best friends for life? A lot of them won't be, and then some of them might be. Some of them might be, and so a lot of them won't be, and that's totally okay because you change so much throughout college that your interests change, your personality changes, your goals change. That the people and your friends are also changing so much that your group of people that are closest to you or are able to relate to you the most will, by definition, have to change.
Yeah.
So
the people you surround, as your goals change, people you surround yourself with also change, and so does your environment.
It has to happen. It's
I think it happens naturally. It happens. Like, it's not really forceful. That was a big thing for me. Is that when I was in high school, I had the same core group of friends, and it was, even though we had different goals and aspirations, like, we were still homies. But then, like, you come to college and it's you naturally surround yourself with people who are doing the same things as you. And when your tribe is has the same identity. What was I trying to say here? It's when you want to subscribe to a tribe that has the same desired identity that you want, and the same desired goals that you want. And that happens very naturally, I think. Like, you just start surrounding yourself with people who are having the same, so like, similar conversations to you, doing the same activities as you, for good or bad,
and the same type of ambitions, perhaps.
Sure.
Or just view on life and friendships.
I mean, coming into freshman year, like, you're meeting, like, thousands of college kids, which can be super overwhelming and really exciting at the same time. But you start to pick and choose, like, do I want to surround myself with people like this? Are they valuing the same things I am? Do their goals align with, like, my values? And they're hard questions to ask, but they're really important.
And I think, going back to the point about this being a natural process, you have to let it happen. Like, if someone is no longer, of your tribe, then you have to learn to let them go. And you have to be open-minded about meeting new people too. If this person is more in my tribe, be open-minded to making new friends too.
Right. I mean, I've had friends since freshman year that are still my best friends today.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had really close friends in relationships I've lost. And it really just depends. I guess everyone goes through it differently, but it's really hard for me to lose a friend. I mean, it is for everyone. But that I first had that happen to me in college, when I, like, really, like, lost good friends and lost, like, girlfriends and relationships and all that. And
romantic relationships too. They come and go.
Yeah.
They come and go.
And it feels like when you're 20, 21, 22 years old, it feels like the end of the world sometimes, because, like, you're starting to grow up and, like, you're a young adult and you're finally experiencing these, like, super deep, meaningful relationships on a whole nother level, because you're away from home and completely on your own. Like, you have your own identity, and then, like, when you lose relationships like that, it can really, really harm you. So I don't know. That was a culture shock for me. I'm glad you brought that up.
It's funny though, because I feel like I've experienced that feeling of losing really close friends through moving a lot growing up, and I feel like you did too.
I have too. I moved. I've moved 8 different times in my life.
I probably more, or similar amount.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've been all over the world. My dad was in the Army traveling, so I was always, like, meeting new people, and then, like, a year or two, okay, see ya, nice to meet you. I'll, like, see you on Instagram. That's about it. But then, like, I don't know, coming to college and, like, creating these, like, deep relationships with people. And, like, they're still, like, down the street. They're still, like, around.
That's the thing. You're not being taken away forcefully. You're just, your goals and values don't align anymore.
Yeah.
Or, like, you're just realizing there may not be a good friend anymore to you, or you to them, or the romantic relationship doesn't work out, right? Yeah. That's tough to know that you could be spending all this time together, but you're choosing not to.
Right.
So that's a little different.
It's pretty crazy, just, like, because you could, at a school like USC with, like, 20,000 students, if not more than that, like, you can meet 100 new people a day. You know what I mean? If you really tried. So you can make a ton of new friends, or you could just, like, chill in your room and not. So really, I don't know. I think something I've learned is to attack each day as it's the first day of the rest of my life, and act like something good's about to happen. You never know what's going to happen, who you're going to meet, who's going to change your life, who's going to change your perspective and create a different version of you. So be open to that and welcome others, and we'll be like just I don't know tolerant of different groups.
To build on
It's
that,
a pretty cliche.
to build on that point, kind of relates to the thing about being social and people come and go. It's another point I learned at USC is that you should try to say
This
yes.
coffee's really good.
Is that
Sorry.
what kind of coffee is that?
It's the cold brew.
Starbucks cold brew.
ASMR.
Starbucks cold brew.
All right.
I'm drinking this Allegro jasmine tea. Anyway,
Sponsored. Hashtag sponsored.
I wish.
Hashtag branded. Endorsed. Really love. You pay us now.
Thanks.
Just kidding.
All right, can I make my point? My point, another point I learned is you should try to say yes as often as possible, especially when you're so young and you don't know what you want.
Yeah.
Like, if I didn't say yes to people inviting me to surf, I might not be a surfer, or, you know what I mean?
Right.
If I didn't agree to go hang out with this group of people, I might not have met this friend through that group that are core to my identity today.
Yeah.
And if I didn't say yes to this job, I wouldn't have known that I hate this thing and try to do something else.
That's something one of my mentors told me is you need to be a yes man when you're 20 and just constantly be accepting of these new ideas and challenges and just say yes to it. You know what I mean? Like, do you want to surf today? Sure. Do you want to go to the gym today? Sure. Do you want to film a podcast? Sure.
Yeah, because when you're so young, you don't know what you might feel like you won't like something, but you really won't know until you try it.
Yeah. You know what I hate though is in my fraternity, we had this like senior night where the seniors give freshmen advice about college, kind of like what we're doing now, but a little more fraternal,
and way less just like thought out.
Right? Yeah, and way less organized and intelligent like we are.
Bet.
But basically, a lot of the seniors are like, say yes to everything. Like if there's a party, say yes to it. If like it's Wednesday and everyone's going to the 9-0 and you want to get blacked out, say yes to it. Like you only have so many Wednesdays to black out in college. But I don't know. Like to me, it's like, bro, you have a midterm. Like say no. It's okay to say no to shit like that when it's gonna be detrimental towards like your overall goals. I think when people say be a yes man, it's like be a yes man towards activities that are like actually gonna. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there's a caveat to it. You have to be logical and so reasonable about your decision and how it could be beneficial to you, right?
Yeah.
Like getting blacked out for the 6th time for the week is definitely something to consider. That maybe you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, you think? I mean,
but like when my friends drag me out to be like, hey, I want to try jujitsu. It's better to say
blacking
yes.
out and jiu-jitsu are just two different things.
Yes,
too, you know?
yes. Because jiu-jitsu could be something that I learn and become really good at and become an integral part of my life.
Yeah.
Blacking out for the 6th time means you don't give a fuck about your health.
Yeah.
I mean.
I think
so be intelligent, but don't
authentic to yourself at the same time.
But definitely don't be lazy and not trying things that could be good for you.
Yeah. Also, that's another thing I want to talk about. This is just like the work-life balance, especially at USC, is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's rigorous academics that are difficult and time-consuming, but it's also extremely fun, and it's so important to experience college. Like I know so many kids that are so hyper-focused on getting the best grades, getting the best test scores, which is awesome, but you're missing out on all these amazing experiences you could be traveling, you could be surfing, you could be going out with your friends and to new bars and exploring places and meeting new people, and you're sacrificing that because you want to get an A+ in every assignment. You know what I mean? But also there's the other side of that is you're going out 5 nights a week to all these LA clubs. You're super fried and you're always surfing, like smoking weed all day. Like I don't know. Like then you're failing classes. There needs to be a balance to it. And you need to like understand that you need to have as much fun as you can, and also like focus as much on your goals as you can, which is super difficult to do.
Fully.
But that's part of like being in college.
Fully. Like try to think what's going to be most beneficial to you in the long term. Because maybe going out once a week is beneficial. It sounds irresponsible, but you'll meet a bunch of people and you'll look more fondly back on this time in college. But if, like I said, the 1st time and the 6th time going out, there's a difference.
Yeah.
There's a balance of everything. Did you want to talk more about this one? I want to talk a little bit about.
I mean, I was going to bring up last night's class.
Go ahead.
With this, I'm not going to say him, but we talked to this super influential billionaire in one of our classes yesterday. And we had the pleasure of learning from him and hearing his like perspective on his business and what he's done. He's extremely accomplished. and
I
there's
feel like we
so
could.
much
Can
we
we?
can
Can we
learn.
name? We can name drop him.
Hayes Barnard, insane,
Ace Barnard.
insane
Yeah.
entrepreneur, insane hard worker. It was extremely inspiring, but he sleeps for like 2 hours a night, and
Well, on some nights, like
right. I mean,
obviously not. That doesn't operate off.
he doesn't
2 hours a
sleep
night.
very well. Like he's always like working. He's in charge of so many people, and he's extremely empathetic towards his cause, which is sustainability, specifically water scarcity in Africa.
And
So
low carbon emission.
sure, yeah,
climate change.
yeah, and he has thousands of employees. He's watching over. We're in a tough market right now, and he's concerned about layoffs and all these implications. But he so he struggles a lot with work life balance. He also has kids, so it's just like difficult for him to be the head of this company and fulfill his responsibilities and be happy and fulfill himself. So I don't know. It just kind of clicked to me. It's like maybe I don't want to be a billionaire. Maybe I don't want to have all this responsibility and not be able to enjoy life and like fulfill what I want to.
He said the most peaceful and happy moment is when he's got his family around his arms and just sitting around the TV. But then he only spends like 4 nights at home in the
A
month
month.
in the month of March. You know,
Which is insane to me.
so it depends on you. Got to start at some point. You got to really start thinking to yourself, what do you value and why are you doing the things that you're doing.
Yeah. A big note I wrote down. This is pretty cool. This could be like a short we do. Let me look at the exact wording. This is kind of off topic, but there's no figuring it out. There's just figuring yourself out.
Okay, you want to talk more about that?
Yeah, it's just you're always gonna be surrounded by fear. Like no matter how successful you are, there's gonna be some level of fear involved. Like there's gonna be levels of that fear, but it's always gonna be there. So
Could you apply that to a situation where there's no figuring it out and you're just figuring yourself out? An
yeah,
example?
I mean, like for him, like
Mhm.
he's a billionaire. He has this crazy business he's created, this crazy legacy he's already established. But he's still scared that he's not going to make it. He's still scared his company's going to crash, or he's going to have to lay people off, or his service or product's not going to work correctly. You're always going to have fear involved with whatever you're doing to whatever degree. It's just, can you be comfortable with that failure? Can you figure yourself out to an extent where that failure doesn't define who you are? And that's so hard to do, but it's really important in the sense that that's how you reach fulfillment and happiness. I'm no expert on this, obviously. Like I'm terrified every day about my future and like where I'm gonna be. You know what I mean? If I'm being honest, every 22-year-old is. I saw this podcast from Joe Rogan, and he goes, every 22-year-old kid thinks they're a loser. And because you haven't proven anything to yourself, you haven't proven anything to anyone. I mean, the very few of us have. There's a couple extremely successful founders or
Entrepreneurs or whatnot.
but most of us are just entering the workforce. Most of us are just trying to start our own thing, and we haven't proven shit yet. And so we're just trying to figure it out piece by piece, day by day. And you know what I mean? It's
Okay,
it's
I see what you're saying. So there's no figuring it out in the sense of like this is the exact way you should be living your life. You should be doing this at this time, or it's more about like what do you value and like what path is best for
when
you.
do you feel fulfilled?
Yeah, is that more?
I think that's more along the lines of it. It's like because if you're always performance based and always putting your value in when I'm this rich, when I get this position in this company, when I can fly here and go on vacation, that's when I'll be happy. That's when I'll be successful.
Right.
You'll never reach that because the bar is always being raised. When you can target like a fulfillment when I don't know, it's so hard to quantify, but like when if I'm doing the process of accomplishing my mission, which it's different for everyone, and we can talk about missions later. But if I'm on the road to accomplishing my mission and I'm doing good, then I'm fulfilled. I think that's figuring yourself out more.
Yeah,
that makes sense. I mean, that's such a deep.
I get it.
conversation to have.
It's less about what should a 22-year-old be doing, but it's more about knowing more about yourself and what fulfills you and what are your goals.
Are you doing the things you want to do and at the same time growing? That's knowing yourself, I think.
Totally.
Yeah. What was the other social conversation?
There's another thing about like the social aspect I want to talk about. You touched on it a little bit, but time management and working harder in school is actually going to improve your social life. That's my point.
Yeah.
So some people, especially freshman year, they have this idea that maybe I should not study for that test or midterms. I got to go out and meet people, right? And that's true, but actually managing your time better and saying like I'm going to study for this test a week ahead of time is going to open up yourself to opportunities where if something spontaneous does come, your friend does suggest a trip, people do say we want to go out tonight, you'll actually have that free time.
Yeah.
So it's working harder now is actually going to free up your time more to do more social things.
Yeah, that goes into procrastination.
Yeah.
I think just like trying your best not to procrastinate, which can be really hard. But when I go home, I get super claustrophobic and anxious because I feel like I'm not doing enough because I don't have as much to do when you're home during break. Because when I'm at school, it's like every single hour of my day is blocked off to something. I'm either at ROTC or I'm at work or I'm in class or I'm working out or I'm doing homework or I'm looking for jobs. Every like hour of my day, or I'm eating like basic shit. Whenever my whenever my whatever time it is, like I'm doing something productive or trying to do something productive. So it's just being able to time manage and be more productive through less procrastination. Do you have any advice for not procrastinating?
Just freaking do it.
You had a really cool thing you told me. It's the 5-second rule.
Oh yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, there's a book on it. But basically when you whenever you feel like there's something you should be doing, go to the gym, talk to someone, network, whatever. Instead of debating in your mind, just count down from 5 and do it. I mean, it's a bestseller book.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You do the damn thing.
No amount of rationalization is gonna give you any more motivation than just the fact of doing the act.
Yeah.
The act of doing. Yeah.
A habit I'm trying to establish because I want to run more because I'm not that good at running is every time I go to the gym, I'm going to bring my running sneakers with me and I'm going to put my running sneakers on. And that's just going to like motivate me to run. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's so simple. Like anyone can put their sneakers on and that's just a cue to start running. That's a cue to, oh, I need to do cardio today. You know what I mean? So yeah. That's something I'm trying to work on because I find myself just making a ton of excuses for why I can't go on runs. And I'll see like all of our roommates like, wow, they just came back from a 7-miler. Like, how do they have time for all this? I always tell myself I don't have time to run, but you have time to do anything. You know what I mean?
You really do. It's all about the narrative.
Saying you don't have time is such bullshit. Like, there's so much you can do in a day. Just like, how can you maximize your time and optimize your efficiency? Another thing you learn in college, time management.
Totally.
Building a calendar. I started using a calendar in college. That was huge.
Yeah, I realized I'd never done that in high school.
Yeah.
That's the thing about not knowing how much we've changed is because so many things that we do now feel so mundane.
Yeah, because we've been doing it for years. So
part of my identity.
But in reality, you learn that in college. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how to talk to someone. I don't know.
Yeah, how to meet someone new. It's
Which seems so basic.
I would have to do more contemplation about who I was in high school in order to figure out how much I've changed. It seems like a very distant.
And that can be another episode all in itself.
Totally.
But it's pretty crazy.
Enjoy the ride. It's a crazy journey.
We're riding. I love riding with you, bro.
Keep on riding.
Keep on riding. That's a McConaughey quote.
You love McConaughey.
We've got to keep names off of him. It's been I don't know. I think, like I said before, like as the years go by, we're gonna look back on college and realize there's even more we learned that we didn't know yet because we're still in it. But I just hope to keep learning, keep growing, keep experiencing. That's really important.
You know? Yeah, I think that's all the bullet points I had.
Let me look real quick. I think that might be it for me too. But I mean,
there's one more.
Here's a couple things. My thoughts on USC. From USC's, I've learned to have fun. I've learned to have too much fun, and I've learned to be creative. That's all I've got. Be creative.
Amen to that.
We'll end on this. Hayes Barnard said yesterday something really inspired me is, don't pretend you can't walk out this door and live a purpose-filled life right now. A life where your actions and your goals and your job align with the values you have and you seek fulfillment in that. Don't let anyone tell you can't, or you're just doing it for money or whatever it is. You can always have a purpose-filled life. You should always seek value in that.
Yeah. I think maybe for a different episode we can dive deeper more into like exactly what it is that you want, your purpose, your goals and values, because
Yeah.
that's really have to. It's like a pyramid. You have to start with at the top of with what is it that you ultimately want in life, and kind of like reverse engineer into what your daily habits should be.
Yeah.
So everyone requires a little bit of contemplation and reflection for that. I think it's important. It's an ongoing process.
Yeah. In terms of USC though, I can't imagine myself at any other school. I think about this all the time. Like, what if I went to UCLA? What if I went to West Point or Michigan or whatever it was? How would my life be different? And it's such a crazy game to play with yourself because, I mean, you just never know. And we don't have those answers as people.
I think there's actually I was people have doubt because of decision paralysis, right? We have so many choices, but ultimately there's no such thing as a right or wrong choice. There's things you can learn at USC that you can't learn at Michigan. There's things you can learn at Michigan that you can't learn at USC. But it's about what you make out of it and trying to maximize the uniqueness of the place you're at and the environment you're at, and and try to extract the most out of that.
Yeah,
I think that's the key.
And USC has some really cool ones, some really cool things to learn.
Absolutely.
But
yeah, do you think that's a good point?
I think that's a good point to stop. Hopefully, anyone listening has gained some value from that. I know we have just from today.
Fire.
But keep riding.
Keep riding. Till next time.